interact and engage. And so today I am Sergeant Maguire as your host for the show, and with me I have three gentlemen, distinguished gentlemen, who will join us in the conversation based on what we will be discussing today. So today we are discussing the hurricane season, and in discussing that topic, we are looking at the police and community support, and it's something that we want to use as an education tool to share the information. As you know, that the hurricane season begins on June 1st, which marks the beginning of the Atlantic hurricane season, right through to November 30th. And the prediction as to the outlook for the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season is it predicts a 30% chance of near normal season, a 60% chance of above normal, and a 10% chance of below normal season. And so there is a prediction of 13 to 19 total named storms with winds of 39 miles per hour or higher, and of those is 6 to 10. Between 6 to 10 are forecast to become hurricanes with winds of 74 miles per hour and higher. And 3 to 5 of those 10 hurricanes are predicted to be major hurricanes with category ranging from category 3 to 5, which means that you will have a maximum wind of 111 miles per hour higher. And so with this season and the outlook, I think it is quite fitting that we engage you, the general public, in relation to how we can all prepare for this hurricane season. We all know that we have all seen hurricane make landfall any way they want, and they travel unexpected paths. They dump unbelievable amount of flooding rains and include destructive tornadic activity even when they are miles inland. And with all the variables at play, it is crucial that you establish a hurricane preparedness plan for your community. Not only that it should, the association should have a plan, but also when it comes to different community organizations, sectors and sub-sectors. And so we want to discuss today our preparedness for this incoming season. And with me in the studio, I have Superintendent Lyndon David. He is considered the NEMA expert for the police force when it comes to natural disasters. In fact, every morning the entire police chat is being notified as to the weather, the meteorologist report. And so he's here to discuss the police and what the police is doing. I have also Mr. Livingston Pemberton, who is the president, the NEMA coordinator. And also I have with me Mr. Trevor Seaton, who is a representative of the Red Cross. And so, gentlemen, good morning and welcome to Policing with You. Good morning. All right. So, who is going to go first and introduce themselves? Mr. Pemberton.
Okay, good morning to everybody. My name is Livingston Pemberton. I am the National Disaster Coordinator at NEMA. And just allow me to frame what NEMA is all about. NEMA is governed by the National Disaster Management Act. And NEMA's responsibility is to monitor as well as supervise any activity which may have direct or indirect bearing on the level of national disaster preparedness, prevention, and safety in St. Christopher and Nevis. It is my pleasure to be here, and I trust that we'll be able to share useful information to you, the general public.
Good morning to everyone. I am Superintendent Lyndon David, Divisional Officer for Division A, liaison between the police and NEMA. And the role of the police actually is to constantly coordinate with NEMA and mobilize our staff once we realize that we'll be impacted, so that we can be in a state of readiness to assist the citizens and residents of the Federation. And apart from in terms of hurricane responsibilities, we still also have to look for criminal aspects, because we know during hurricanes, after the past, sometimes even before, persons go and do some looting. So we also have to be in that guard, and we also have the St. Kitts and Nevis Defense Force, who also partner with us in this regard in terms of safety and security. But at the same time, we liaise with NEMA regarding the passage of the storm. And as a result of mobilization, we have to ensure that our staff as well are in a good condition to assist the community.
Good morning. My name is Trevor Seaton, and I am the disaster coordinator for the Red Cross, for the St. Kitts and Nevis Red Cross Society. And my job really is to coordinate the work of our volunteers on the ground in St. Kitts and Nevis. The Red Cross Society is part of the International Red Cross movement. Red Cross plays a supportive role to NEMA. We are the only non-governmental organization that has a place in legislation where we provide that support to NEMA based on the situation on the ground. And so I'm happy to be here to share on behalf of the St. Kitts and Nevis Red Cross.
Right, so there you have it, radio listeners. And so to really stimulate or kick off the discussion, Mr. Pemberton, the question to you this morning is that how to be ready for a hurricane season? How to be ready for a hurricane season?
Okay, thank you very much for that question, and please allow me to say to the listening public that while the focus may be on hurricane, we want persons to understand that we talk about comprehensive disaster management, because it is not only the hazard of hurricane that we're exposed to, and so we want persons to be aware. Just that at this point, from June the 1st, we will be in the active hurricane season. So I wanted to underscore that. So what we tell persons is that it's important for you to have a plan. Very, very important for you to have a plan. And what are some of the things that your emergency plan should entail? I will outline some of them. We encourage you to sit with your family or your close friends, and you are to decide how you're going to get in contact with each other, where you will go, and what you will do in the event of an emergency. So that is important. You need to have that conversation. You need to write down emergency phone numbers.
Yes.
Such as police, fire and rescue, the hospital, contact, and so on. That is important. Then you need to keep them in a visible place around the house, so that at a glance you can see them, you will know who to call if you're having an event, as the case may be. You also need to save these numbers in your cell phone. Okay, that is also important. And we also encourage persons that in the case that family members are separated from one another, during a disaster, you must have a plan how you're going to get back to each other. So you might say, for example, if we are separated, we are going to meet, let's say, in Warner Park. So if yourself, Mr. David and myself are separated, we know that all of us are going to head to Warner Park.
Right.
And so we'll be reunited. So those are some of the pointers I would like to share with the general public in terms of your emergency plan.
Right. And very, very important pointers, but to expound a little bit more on the question, what is really a hurricane preparedness plan? Why is it important?
Okay, it is important because we believe in planning. If you plan for an event, it means it is giving you a roadmap as to how you're going to respond before, during, as well as after. And that is why we're encouraging persons to have a plan. Have an individual plan, have a family plan, have an institution plan.
Right.
Okay, that is very important. And I'm so happy that we have our stakeholders here with us, the Red Cross,
Yes.
as well as the police.
Right. Very good. Very good. Very good. And so, in my research, and we can expand the discussion in relation to some of these areas. I came across 6 ways how one can be ready for hurricane preparedness. And as you mentioned, establishing a comprehensive hurricane preparedness plan, that is very, very important. And what I find that is relevant to that is that plan must not only a preparedness plan, but there must also be a response plan, which you would have highlighted. And so in this preparedness plan, it must include owners, resident emergency contact information, the alerting, how you alert person, a listing of different important contact, and from NEMA's standpoint, in terms of that plan, what are some of the things that entails in relation to before the hurricane? As I know, what the information you shared was more that an individual, but from a national disaster preparedness plan, how NEMA goes about its plan.
Okay, thank you very much. I would have referenced already the National Disaster Act. Within that, we have what we call subcommittees. There are actually 10 subcommittees. I'm going to name them so you can be aware. We have the Damage Assessment and Recovery Committee. We have the Education and Communication and Warning Committee. We have the Environment Committee, Foreign Assistance, Housing and Shelter, Medical and Public Health, Search, Rescue and Initial Clearance. We have Transportation. We have Utilities. We have Welfare, Relief Supplies, and Shelter Management. So each of these committees chaired by, in some instances, a permanent secretary or head of department. And these persons are responsible before we are impacted by any event to make sure that they convene meetings with their members. They have to have a plan of action. What do you do before? What are you going to do during? And what are you going to do post-impact?
Right.
And so these committees are responsible basically for informing NEMA as to what their actions are, all right? Because remember we said that NEMA is mere a coordinating unit,
Yes.
okay? Now, once these committees would have met and they would have developed their plans and submitted them, we would have reviewed them, we would have had discussions, and normally what happens is that we will call a meeting prior and ask them to give an update as to where they are, what they would have done. We see where there might be gaps. And then what we often do is that we test the plan.
Right.
So we may have, for example, tabletop exercises where we put them through, give them a scenario and see how they would respond, what actions they would take. And we look at the gaps and so on. So that is, in short, what we will do at the NEMA end.
Right, and we know that hurricane, as I would have mentioned, there is quite a number of storms, and some can be categorized likely to be major, and the potential, the economic potential in terms of devastation due to damages and so on. So, how does the government, from a national standpoint, what role does the government plays in its preparedness for hurricane season?
Okay, again, thank you for the question, and it goes back again to the committees that I would have mentioned. Each of these committees, they have a particular role that they have to play.
Right.
And when you come, for example, you're talking about costing and so on. Before we even get to that, when we look, for example, at the Damage Assessment Committee, that is headed by the whoever is the director of the Public Works Department.
Right.
They are responsible for infrastructural development within the country. And it is important that when planning infrastructural projects, that you take into consideration measures that you can put in place to reduce risk.
Right.
So, for example, you're constructing roads, you make sure that you have proper drainage in place. You're constructing buildings, you have to take into consideration the wind speeds that we are now experiencing, and you design accordingly. So these are some of the things that you take into consideration.
So in addition to NEMA, there are other government agencies that are all part of the preparedness.
That is correct. NEMA is just the coordinating agency.
Right. And speaking about agency, police is one of such agencies. So how does the police intertwine in all of the preparedness in relation to hurricane?
Well, once we get notification, so good morning again to everyone. Once we get the notification that St. Kitts and Nevis will be impacted, we know that the Chief of Police or Commissioner of Police will send out various instructions. Persons can be recalled back to the stations where they are stationed, and we start to look at housing them and feeding them. After that, we know that we have to have constant coordination and collaboration with NEMA and disaster over in Nevis Disaster Management Department in Nevis. So the police over there, the division officer will have his coordination taking place as well. We will be ensuring that communication is made with our station officers and sub-district commanders, and the division officers will take control of that. Also, our hurricane plan, it will be read, ensure that everyone understand what is supposed to be done. And so the pre-activities we start to put in place, we have to ensure too that our buildings can weather the storm, and if they cannot, where we will have to relocate if we have to relocate. If leakage come, how do we get out of that side? And then we know we will constantly be monitoring. We'll also have even though the NEAC might be will be activated, we also have our operations center at police headquarters, so we can do some coordination there as well. Our police vehicles, we have to ensure that they're fueled, they're also in a safe position, so in case debris will be flying, they will not be damaged by debris. And during the storm as well, we will be out for a little while encouraging persons to be off the road. However, once that time has passed, we have to go for shelter as well.
Right.
The district officers, they will contact the district, the NEMA district managers to ensure which center will be open or closed, so that we can monitor persons who want to be displaced into these centers and ensure that we have the proper safety and security. The Defense Force also will be contacted and have a number of things done in order for coordination.
Right, as part of the preparation.
Once the storm has passed, similar to the National Damage Assessment Team, each district officer is to go out and do an assessment, and that also feeds into the National Damage Assessment, because somebody can miss something. So just to make sure we have that total assessment from each person. And then from there now, we know that the police officers will be assisting themselves as well as their family, because we have to give them time to go and check on their premises because they're back out to help. So once that is done, we have persons working as well. So all in all, the police plan is similar to the National Disaster Plan, and then also we now have to work with that to ensure safety and security for
Right.
persons. Most of the time,
public safety.
Yes, we are thankful that the past few years we are not heavily impacted, and looting and so forth is not something that we see on a regular basis every time a storm comes.
Right.
So we are thankful to that, and I take this opportunity to encourage our residents and citizens, in spite of, the best thing is to get things legally. Don't go out and loot and make things difficult. Just help with the recovery process.
Right. And so we have to take a break, but before we take a break, Mr. Seaton, tell us what your organization, in part of the preparedness, how does your organization mobilize itself in relation to preparation?
Okay, so yes, good morning again to all our listeners. Okay, so as part of our preparedness, prior to the impact of any storms, or not just storms that the Red Cross prepares for, just like NEMA, the Red Cross prepares for any disaster or emergency all year round. We can be impacted by earthquakes, by flooding at any time, emergencies like fire. And so we always on a level of preparedness, not just at the local level, but at the international level. A matter of fact, daily we have to report to our regional coordination if there are any pending emergencies threatening our country. So each disaster coordinator in each country report daily.
Right.
And so we have that constant level of being alert and prepared. But in relation to the hurricane season, of course, we would have ongoing training with our volunteers. We would have been pre-positioning supplies, checking on the supplies that we have, and to pre-position and strategic areas within St. Kitts and Nevis. So in the event that we are impacted and we have to respond, we would not have to return to a central area each time to collect supplies.
Because you might have roads damage
roadblocks
and so on, so
yes, support.
traversing might be difficult. Yeah.
Yes, so and like NEMA, we have various subcommittees within Red Cross, and so we ensure that those functional areas know the area of operations. And prior to the impact, a matter of fact, today we would be having a meeting with some of the committees to ensure that they are ready to respond if the need will arise. We, as I said at the beginning, we play a supportive role to NEMA, so depend on the situation on the ground. Red Cross would respond based on those needs. And in coordination or in support with the International Red Cross, as I said, we provide constant update with them, and if the situation is beyond the local capacity, then the International Red Cross can mobilize regional and international support, whether that be in terms of sending additional supplies or sending in human resource to assist our local volunteers on the ground.
Right. So, GQ, this is a good point to take a break, and when we come back, we are going to allow our listening audience to participate in the discussion. So you can call, GQ, the number?
465-1977 and 1903 and 662-8674.
Right, so we'll take a break, and when we come back, we have our calls.
St. Kitts and Nevis, it's time to celebrate! We're raising our glasses and saying cheers to 20 years as your trusted telecommunications provider. And because we love our amazing customers, we're giving you the chance to win! Every week, we've got exciting prizes just for you. And that's not all. Step into a cash vault for a shot at $2,000 in cash. To qualify, switch to Digicel, activate a 3-day plan or higher, pay your bill in full, sign up for postpaid or a new Digicel Plus internet package. Stay connected, keep enjoying the best service, and get ready to win! 20 years strong, and we're just getting started. Visit a Digicel retail store today.
The St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party invites you to a sacred moment of remembrance and honor. Join us on Sunday, 1st June 2025 at the Christian Life Assembly, Bladen's Commercial Development, for our annual Requiem Mass, beginning at 4 p.m. Together we will reflect on the lives, legacies, and contributions of our fallen comrades, those whose dedication helped to shape our party and our nation, St. Kitts and Nevis. Comrades, supporters, and friends, come, let us worship, remember, and give thanks in unity and reverence. Their light lives in us. The St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party, honoring the past, building the future.
Each day, we see how unpredictable life can be, so let Nagico Insurances help you prepare and safeguard what matters most. We provide solid coverage you can depend on, like life insurance to provide financial security for those you love, medical that covers dental, vision, and preventative care, and auto insurance with comprehensive coverage so you can drive with confidence. For all your insurance needs, visit us at Nagico.com. Nagico Insurances, fast, fair, and always there.
And we are back, and so at this time we are going to invite you, our radio listeners, to feel free to call in and be a part of this conversation. But while we wait we have a call? Okay, all right, we have a call.
Hello, a blessed good morning. In Point and Westwam, where we cover ARP.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah. In Point and Westwam, where they we cover ARP zone.
Wait, hold on a second there, Casildo. Hold on a second. Now, hearing? Turn up the volume on your device.
Yeah, hello. Good morning. A good program, but in boys, right? And Westwam, where we cover ARP zone.
Okay, all right, thanks. She's asking, for the people in West Farm, which point do they cover, A or B zone?
So the question was?
From West Farm end, yeah.
Is the question, just ask if the person's still online?
No, they gone already, yeah.
Oh,
she lives in West
we were
Farm.
wondering if they're referring to a policing district or the Nima district.
Oh, okay. Right.
Oh. So Superintendent, I think they're trying to find out whether West Farm is policed by District A or District B.
Well, when it comes to, as mentioned earlier by you, when it comes to from the policing aspect, there's a difference between that of the NEMA thing. So if the caller is looking for which say NEMA district.
Police district.
Huh?
Which police district?
So the police district, that would be A.
B. West Farm.
West Farm, that would be B. Mm-hmm. So Old Road Police Station is the station that would deal with matters in that area. However, it does not just limit to Old Road. In case there's a need for assistance, you could have personnel from Barstair and Sandy Point assisting. So, Carl, I hope that that answers your question. But if you're still uncertain, you can call back and we can clarify more. But it will be District Division B, as we will call it, but Old Road District.
Okay. All right. We have another call, DQ? All right. So we will continue while we await our listening audience to participate if they have any call. Now, Mr. Pemberton, we would have covered the preparedness aspect in relation to the plan. Society is advancing into technology. Now, is there any consideration as to what kind of technology can be utilized to assist as part of our preparedness in the hurricane and also our response in weather conditions, severe weather conditions?
If I'm understanding your question correctly, are you saying how can we use technology to get the message out to our persons?
Yes.
Okay, I'm happy for that question. NEMA as an agency is on all of the social media networks, and so persons can get information by tuning in you mentioned earlier that the superintendent would update the force on the weather.
Right.
I'm certain that he's getting that information because he's tuned into our WhatsApp group, and so he will get that information. And I must let you know that NEMA works closely with the Met Office, and so the Met Office will inform us daily as to what is happening in terms of the weather. We in turn will create what we call tiles and send it out to our stakeholders. And allow me to make a plug here. If you're not yet a part of the NEMA WhatsApp group, you can be a part of it. You just need to send a message to a number. I will give you the number shortly, and we will add you to that, and you get all of the notifications. So we are utilizing traditional media such as ZIZ. My good friend GQ takes care of that. We also use social media,
Right.
as I would have said.
Right. So, thanks for addressing the social media aspect. But in terms of technology to deal with weather conditions and so on and things like that, any advancement or any consideration in terms of?
Okay. As I would have said, NEMA relies heavily on the advice from the meteorological office. They are the experts in these things, and so they are the ones who monitor locally as well as regionally. They will then inform us, and once they would have informed us based on their advice, then we will activate the necessary plans as the case may be.
All right.
And that is supported, of course, by our regional partners as well.
Right. Okay, so we have a call online? Okay. All right. So far, as we would have been discussing, some pointers that came to bear is the proactive preparedness plan, and the importance of agency collaboration, because you have the Red Cross, and I'm sure that there are other community groups and organizations that also would have assist in the sense of when it comes to hurricane and so on. There is also the need for the community engagement thrust in relation to that, and that is what we would have looked at in relation to that. Now, from NEMA's standpoint, how do you find the community engagement or response during the time of hurricane?
Whenever we are impacted, meaning the Federation is impacted by any hazard, one of the things that we let our people know is that we have what we call districts, and they're actually district coordinators, or district managers we call them. And we also have volunteers, persons who would be in the community, and on a constant basis, we're asking the persons who form part of the district managers group to go and interact with the persons in the community. So they would know who the police officers are. They would know who the contractors are. They would know who the heavy equipment operators are. They would know who the doctor is in the community, who is a nurse. They would know who are the vulnerable persons within the community. So this is information or data that you have prior. Okay? So that if that community is impacted for whatever reason, then you will know the persons who will be most vulnerable. You will know what your resources are within the community if you need to mobilize those resources. And so you get a very good response. But again, all of it happens if you would have created that network. And I'm sure, Mr. Sergeant Maguire, you moving from district to district, you would have reached out to the persons within the community so you know who they are, so that in the event they need to respond, they are able to do so.
All right, guys, we've sorted out the issue. I would like you to turn on your volume first on your headset so we can get a proper setting. I don't want to make you guys deaf. And we have a call coming in.
Okay.
Good morning. You're live.
Morning to you, children. Listen to the program. What district have to go. I live off a cheap old road. I live in off a cheap old road.
Sandy
Mr.
Point.
Pemberton,
That's Sandy Point. Oh, Half a Tree is police district that's Sandy Point Police District.
Sunny Pine.
Half a Tree is
Okay.
so if you deal with police, it will be Sandy Point. But when it comes to NEMA will have their shelters in different parts of the villages, so that you but I know that. But Mr. Pemberton is could speak for that. But I know that a list will go out so people can know where the shelters are in their areas. So once that is sent out by NEMA, make sure you get a hold of it. You can call NEMA itself and get that document so you can know which shelter you can go to. So maybe you do not have to go to all the way to Sandy Point, but right there in Half a Tree, there's a hurricane shelter, a shelter for disaster, and you can go there. Just have to know who the shelter manager is, and that will be taken care of.
I live alone, single mother. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. You're welcome.
And goodbye.
yes. Okay, we will take the call quickly, JQ. Hello, you're on.
Good morning.
Yes, morning.
The question was raised with me, and I decided to ask it here. Suppose your neighbor have a tree that's coming over in your area. Do you have the right to trim it? Does police get involved? Who is the right person to contact? Because, for example, if the neighbor is making noise saying that you're cutting down their tree, right? How do you go about that? Do you report to the police and say that, this tree is coming over in my yard, it's coming in my window, it's a hazard to me? It's a very interesting question. Like, who is the right authority to deal with it? Is it the police? Is it NEMA? Is it Kellett? Like, who do I go to if such thing occur?
Well, we always encourage persons to live neighborly as possible, because the thing about it, the tree might be over on one property, and the overhanging is creating a hazard on the other property, and it really requires that kind of communication among neighbors in terms of having it trimmed. So if the owner of the property that the tree is planted is not willing to cooperate and to have the tree, I think the person on the other side reserve the right to protect their property as well. And in the event that there is any kind of misunderstanding, then the police can be calling to render assistance in terms of maintaining peace. But we always encourage that neighbors should start with a conversation and a common understanding. We have another call, GQ. Hello, good morning. You're on there.
Yeah. I like to give for this word. Personal word. And okay is support.
Caller, you may have to move away from the radio.
You have to
Not quite sure what the caller is.
All right, guys, so let's take another call. Good morning, you're live.
Hello, good morning.
Officers, good morning to you all.
Good morning.
Okay, just ask a question. How interesting it is, the word he used. It is also interesting to me, too. And yet he specifically asked, based on the description, about what he may be experiencing, or otherwise by someone, about a tree, and from one person's property to another. Who do you report to or complain to? After responding, before you didn't say just after finishing, they would want to make sure that there is some sort of communication between to the neighbors. And if nothing suits that person who is complaining, then you can call the police. Is this the case where I am living one place in a neighborhood and somebody trying the coconut bough and the branches from the tree on my land, yet speak to them about it, is the result to at least calling the police as well. Is that correct? Just a question.
Well, the thing about it is that nobody is supposed to be trespassing.
No, sir, I asked you a question. Is it true that after what I just explained to you,
right,
no communication between two parties in the neighborhood, then is best to call the police station?
I will say that.
Yes.
I will say
Okay,
yes.
here we are now. That something similar happened based on what I'm explaining to you. I spoke to the people in the area on several occasions. They are the only one who have coconut trees in the neighborhood close to the wall of the property that I have there. And they listened to me. They heard what I said. I asked them to discontinue it. Went to clean the land again the other day. Coconut shells. I looked over in the yard because the wall is so short I could stand up and see in the yard. I see a piece of coconut. It's the same shade of the coconut of what they show in the yard and the coconut bough. I called, nobody responded. I called the police station officer and I reported the matter. You know what the police told me? It's not the police supposed to deal with it. Call the health department. You see what it is? There are some people who are giving jobs to do but not doing it. And they don't know what they're doing. Obviously, need to be trained or taught how to do what they're supposed to, that they're being employed to do. And when they can talk to me or anyone else tell them those kind of things is misleading, somebody needs to get serious about what they have to do that should be done. Somebody and some police officers, when people like your officer leave the force, they're on a police force, you know, and I'm not sorry about saying it, and I will not regret saying it, because there are some people who are supposed to be police officers, supposed to protect the law, protect the citizens of this nation, don't doing it because they're afraid to do the work. And this is what happened in my situation. They don't want to do what they're supposed to be doing. You know, I'm raising my voice because I'm angry because the people who are supposed to be protecting me and other people does not protect us. It's either that they don't care or they don't know what it is to do. And if other police officers are listening, and I hope the commissioner is listening to this talk show too, because I don't mean to get personal, but these things are not supposed to be done. I don't think they know what they're doing. And are they really police officers or are they wearing uniforms?
Caller.
Officer, you have a good day and thanks for listening.
Caller,
Goodbye.
before you go, caller. Okay, I hope the caller is listening, but I want to know if once he spoke with that initial officer, if he went to a senior officer to get further information on that to see how to address it. But thank you for it. You did not mention where, actually, so we can engage you. But I will encourage you to go to that station, ask for the station officer, and see how best you can get it sorted out. But in situations like that, you can have dual, you can have multiple agencies involved as well.
Okay. We'll have to make this our last call because we are nearing the end. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, police officers.
Good morning, good morning.
And good morning to Sinkis and Nevis. The caller before, he's right, you know. You got a lot of people just doing a lot of nonsense. People clean the empty lot and they come throwing garbage on the empty lot. And you can't talk to them. And he also right. Sometimes you make calls. I make call the other night watching a trainee down in West Independence Square Street. Walk out the supermarket with a bag of garbage. Carry it cross by Avis, where Avis used to be. Straight cross there. I tell him he ain't going nowhere, leave that. And we start. We reach up the station. I want to say good morning to Vinnie. She assists properly. This is what we want from police. When people call, I accept people call and show seriousness. This thing becoming a joke, you know. And jam down will talk. I'm glad I born here. The next thing I want to talk about is we coming up in the hurricane season. It will be a tense one. They're saying we're going to get some storms early. Where the awareness is telling people not to banking up garbage in the yard and the house, and when they see they got them running, throwing them in the gut. These things are reached down by the waterfront. And every year you get that, and you can't talk to people. Well, I want to pay me money, you know. This citizen here want to pay me money and summons a lot of them. Let me go in front of magistrate. God bless this former governor, Mr. Arundel. He used to lean on the health department. When you go in there, when police carry a deal, Waffing just carry a deal, you get judgment. But no way ain't getting nothing. That's why the damn place so nasty. That is why he's so nasty. Good morning, Mr. Quilly, and good morning, Stafford Label. All the commissioners, them. One more thing I want to say to you quickly before I go.
Yes, you.
Superintendent, please clean up them stations selling there with the backing up of the tutu for almost a week now. It's not nice. Otherwise, when the human rights man come, Moonlight friend, and he come down in the circus by us, I'm going to send him up there time. I send him up there already, you know. That's how we get a new guard room, you know. It's Stafford, you know. Please, it's workers' health. Come on, man. And the Prime Minister and them with money and just for expensive jets to go elsewhere to do the country business. These is the things we want to look after. Look after the police station and the army.
Right.
When servicemen working hard.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jam Dong. I hate to have to cut, but we are out of time. And I really want to commend you for your civic action because, you know, it's action like these. It put me back right back to the principle of Sir Robert Peel in terms of policing. And if we get back to that, where when we see people are violating and we as citizens really, you know, hold other citizens accountable by exercising our civic proaction, we can begin to see a lot of things happening. Unfortunately, panelists, we are out of time, so we can't even have any closing remarks, but we want to really thank you, and we want to thank you, our radio listeners. We are really out of time. Until next week for another session of Policing with You, I am your host, Sergeant Maguire, saying have a wonderful day.
At The Cable, we believe in giving back because when our community thrives, we all do. That's why, as a company, we make it our mission to touch the lives of everyone in St. Kitts. We spearheaded the renovation of JNF Hospital lobby to ensure better care for all. The Cable sponsors free Wi-Fi in every community center across St. Kitts, so no one is left behind in an increasingly connected world. We stand with communities through every moment, big or small, in culture, education, youth development, and more. Y a ti también, Comunidad Latina. Cuenta con nosotros. Estamos con ustedes. And when it comes to customer service, we set the standard. We're just a call, click, or visit away because you matter to us. Join the company that truly cares. The Cable, more than service. We're family. Somos familia. And we're proud to always give more where it matters.